I don't know if we're on. Are we on? You know, I never know if we're on or not.
I don't either. Actually, we could possibly
There's
be
like a
talking to
light or
ourselves.
something. I think we're on. We're going to say hello. Oh, man. Man, it's been such a week. I think Jonah Sharp's asking when you start.
It's Wednesday.
Well, you know, my weeks start on Wednesday or on Tuesdays and they end on Wednesday.
They never end.
Tuesdays are always tough. Okay, so we're missing Mr. Short. He just ran out of the building.
Yeah, literally,
He's
he bailed.
Like, oh my God, the forums, they've erupted. And
yeah.
And
he grabbed his passport, said he was going to get his dog, and then he bounced out of the country.
He may be leaving the country. You guys, I don't know what you're doing to him. Anyway, some lively conversations, and we'll talk about that stuff in a little bit, and so that's great. I still don't know if we're actually on, but you know, it says streaming live, so I think we're actually. Let's see if they tell us if we're on or not.
Can somebody?
So, you are live. Oh, thanks, Ken.
Thanks,
finally
Kenna.
somebody tells us. Okay, good. You know, sometimes you just can't tell. That's why you see now Jeremy's not there, and now Michael's not here, and we just don't know what the hell we're doing.
No, it's true.
So I have the lovely Sabrina here today. She submitted again to being on the show. I don't know why. She should just run away and hide.
Next week you'll see me with cuffs because I've been chained to the table and forced against my will.
What? She's trying to run away. Yeah, I can start the gameplay, sure. Yeah, other people are reminding me what to do. Okay, here we go. We're going to start the gameplay also. Look at that.
And it's Probetown.
And there it is. Yay, Probetown. So, yeah, she's she's brave, yeah. Wow.
Wasn't going there,
wow.
clippy clap, but
wow.
Sure.
You know, that's where we end up, no matter what. Let's first do some shout-outs. Let's get that out of the way. We got lots of stuff to talk about. We got lots of, divisive conversation in the forums I want to cover.
Oh, yes.
Always. Why am I always the one that has to come and do all that?
You signed up for that job when you agreed to helm this ship
I
here.
suppose. We can talk about all the new content. We can't talk a lot about so many new things, but we do have a couple of things to talk about. But we did take a couple weeks from the last time, and there were a ton of changes, and so there's lots of change. And I always joke around the office, change is hard.
Change is hard.
I'm assuming that's also. Oh well, I'm not assuming. I know that's affecting the community too. Change is hard, and so we go through this, and we wade our way through it and try to figure out what the best approach is. So shout outs. What do we got?
Well, for one, Alex is back, and he's married. He's attached himself to his ball and chain. Congratulations to the other Sabrina.
We did do Wonder Twin ring powers and made the little ching sound.
Lordy.
And I don't know if he appreciated it or not, but he's back, and actually
he's one step closer to becoming you.
He's don't tell him that. He'll jump off the top of the building. He wouldn't like you to say that. What else? Oh, we haven't had a new Euphorian in a while.
We haven't.
I can't remember the last time we had somebody new. But this one is
actually very near and dear to my heart because he worked with me on Gotham City Imposters.
That's right. We have a new producer so that I can take a step back and do more strategery type stuff.
Spend more time on the forums.
Spend more time on the forums is definitely not what I want to do. But pay more attention to feedback and try to make a better video game is always a good place to focus.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome to Justin, our new producer. At some point we'll talk him into coming on the show and dipping his head in. I tried to get takers today and his hand was not raised and stuck to his mouse.
So he's got a lot going on. This is his third day.
Day three. He's already into the
and
fire.
The tree is burning.
That's right. Oh, the tree. Yeah, we're gonna burn the skill tree in effigy. So, what else do we have? Oh, let's talk about the game, since we haven't actually said anything about the game. A lot of the people that are in that are viewing right now are fans and loyal followers.
Indeed. So you guys already know this is Offensive Combat. It's an online browser-based shooter. It is free to play. It is customizable and competitive, and we are Euphoria. We make this game. We communicate with you, and we respect and applaud your feedback, so please keep it coming. As much as today it's up in the air, but we do still appreciate it. Like, we wouldn't know what to do or when things are working or when they're not working if you didn't tell us, so we do appreciate that you tell us, even when it's rough.
That's
feedback.
right. Well, and some people do that in the forums. Some people do that in comment on in email and things like that, and send things to customer service. And we get plenty of for all the divisive commentary and negative stuff. We also get tons and tons of positive stuff, and we hope to highlight some of that stuff as well.
And I mean, just think of other games. Like, even though some of the feedback that we may be dealing with sometimes is negative, other games that you play, if you've got negative feedback, you're kind of just sitting there like a cricket and talking to nobody or talking to walls. Nobody's going to be listening to you.
That's exactly right.
So
you can also follow us on Twitter at Euphoria Games, and like us on Facebook, Offensive Combat.
Or Euphoria
on Facebook,
Games.
Or Euphoria Games, both. And I'm at Chris R. Archer if you want to flame me on Twitter.
I don't
feel
tweet.
Free. And she can't get flamed. Therefore, she can't get flamed. So.
I was smart about this.
Oh, wow, look at Vanderbeest. Bottle is greater than Beast, and that's probably true.
We had that discussion. It actually depends on the circumstance.
Yeah, Bottle is it. Yeah, whoever's played with Water Bottle, they know that there's just no competition.
Exactly.
Yeah. We find out what weapons are OP and what weapons are not as soon as we hand them to him. Actually, and they're all OP, it turns out.
Yeah, it turns out if you give him any weapon, you
That's
give
right.
him the melee weapon, and he'll just annihilate with you.
Let's talk. Do you want to talk stats, or do you want to get into nuts and bolts on news and updates? And
I will let you make that call if you.
Let's do stats. Let's do stats because everybody I'm sure wants to know where they are. I know the guys are feverishly working on leaderboard stuff right now, and it's designed out, and they're implementing as we speak, and so. That's exciting. So we'll start to see this stuff in the game and live. We'll still do it on the show, but we'll be able to start seeing it in game as well.
Yeah, I enjoy this. It's fun. And we actually have a ton of changes this week. A lot of people slipped. A bunch of people moved up in the ranks. For the past, since we started doing this, I think, Knotted Hair has dominated pretty much all of our
kills, deaths, pwns,
pretty much everything.
Time played, the whole thing, right?
Yeah, and this week we actually have great upset in this area. Knotted Hair, you still have your claim to fame here with top deaths. We appreciate that. With 18,535 deaths for Knotted Hair. That's
so still leading in deaths.
Still leading.
Congratulations.
Yes, that is epic.
Used to be leading in pretty much every category, right? In kills and deaths and playtime as well, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
But last week we had a couple of newcomers to our top 10 who had managed to wrangle some of those titles away from Knotted Hair. Our new top playtime player with 320 hours is Green Biznatch.
That's not enough. I think he needs to play more. Actually, I see some other numbers that are really interesting. It's starting to get very interesting.
There is. It's starting to
Maybe
get very
too much commentary on the forums and not enough playing. Interesting.
I don't know. I have no comment to that.
That's funny.
Our top pwner this week with 8,459 pwns is Where Is Zach, who was our newcomer to our top 10 list last week.
Nice.
So congratulations, Where Is Zach? You're putting a lot of effort in it.
Where is Zach? Oh, Where Is Zach is in there right now.
Where Is Zach is in here.
Where is Zach? Inside the chat room.
Exactly. Yay! So now to our top 10, starting with our number 10 spot, we actually have Dark Drace, who has slipped one space from last week. Last week he was number 9. But Canna Banana actually has slipped. He has held the number 5 spot for, I think, 3 or 4 straight weeks in a row. And now he is in the number 9 spot for the week of our top 10 players. It's okay, Canna. I know you can come back.
He's been doing too many videos.
But we appreciate those videos, too. They're a lot of fun. Where is Zach, who actually broke into our top 10 last week, managed to make it to the number 7 spot.
Nice.
He moved up 3 places. Again, congratulations to you. Knotted Hair actually jumped down 2 spaces from last week.
Well, that's probably why you don't see him on some of the other stuff as well.
On pwns and top playtime, yes. But that's okay. Again, I have faith in you, Knotted Hair. You can win that back. Deadly Spikes also actually captures our number 6 space this week.
And he's been in the top 10 pretty much every week.
He was number 3 last week, so he slipped 3. However, I always butcher up this name, Lizard Morphine has moved up.
Lizard Morphine. Yep.
You guys and your names.
I know.
Jumped up 3 spaces, and before him also jumping up 3 spaces is Yo Mama.
Yo My. Of course.
And our top 3 are actually still consistent from last week.
Although we should note that the gap is closing.
The gap is closing.
It used to be much further apart, and now Guami's in third.
Guami is in third, holding strong.
With how much XP? About 800,000 XP.
800, yeah.
Yep.
800,000 or so XP. In fact, now we have Green Biznatch and Sulaku are tied for levels.
That's right, and
what
is that, 6,000 XP difference?
Yeah, there's only a 6,000 XP difference.
They're almost 1.1 million XP.
Exactly.
They're like 6,000 XP apart. So Sulaku and Green Biznatch are just hanging in there together.
Exactly.
So
and Sulaku, you got to be careful because you have held the #1 spot since we started doing this.
I was
always been.
I was joking with @ThinkingFeller because we're having lively conversations with Sulaku and Kana and a bunch of other people on the forums, and I go, well, Sulaku, I think he's dropping in the rank. He's just complaining too much in the forums, but we'll see.
I don't know if it's so much that or just that Green Biznatch is
or maybe Green Biznatch is just doing better. Yeah,
to come through. But Sulaku, you also still are our main contender for top kills with 41,964.
Right, because I think that.
No, Sulaku has always had it. Yeah,
okay, there you go.
Knotted Hair had everything else.
Congratulations,
Sulaku had
Sulaku.
it. So you still have the #1 spot, but Green Biznatch is closing in on your business.
Nice.
And that are the stats for this week.
Nice. Well, Green Biznatch is going to pass him up very quickly if he keeps staying dedicated. So let's talk about the what's the phrase? Wild elephant. No, the giant elephant.
It's a purple
pink elephant. Is it purple elephant?
The pachyderm in the room.
All the new stuff that we put in. So I might as well just hit like a lot of the stuff that is the big topic of conversation. We made a ton of changes. So we had 2 weeks in between the last build. There were just a ton of changes. Some pretty big adjustments based on some things we've been thinking about for a long time and feedback we've been getting from the forums, and just a lot. There's always a lot of reasons why we make changes, and we are still in beta, so we're still going to be making some changes. Some things are going to make people happy, and some people are, sometimes they're going to be PO'd about the changes we make. I always joke around the office and say change is hard. I know it's kind of childish to say, but it is. Change is hard. Change is hard, and I think that we've been doing this for a long time. Our intentions are always for good, not evil. We really are a good group of people that do this for good, and we want to have a fun game experience. We don't want people to have a painful experience or not have a good user experience. So the changes are always for positive reasons, right? They're not for let's stick it to those guys or those guys suck ass. Let's make it harder for them. Arguably, and what I talk to Michael about all the time is like, we really are pretty friendly. We give a lot of stuff away for free. We're very open with coin, and we made some coin changes, and of course we had some problems with that, and people were upset about that, and we made some changes to adjust that. Well, we did the same thing in this last version. We made a big change to the skills. We actually made 2 changes to the skills. I personally made 1 change to it, which is probably the more controversial one, which is I reduced the amount of skill points that you get per level. Right, and so what that did was it didn't allow you to get all of the skills. And I argue with Michael about this all the time, but the original design or the original idea, the thought I had was that you had to make really tough decisions between each of the columns. Like I have to choose between this item and this item. That's got to be a really tough choice. And then the way we visualized the skill tree itself wasn't exactly what I had envisioned either. I actually had it flipped, and then you could see all the skills and see everything across in this big grid. Mm-hmm. It's not visualized that way too. So the next pass you're going to see something visualized better in that respect, and so you can really see all the guys that are around here a lot. They know that there's lots of choices in there, and that's all for free, and we don't do anything. Not everybody has all the skills. But ultimately, the goal that I had was that you focus on a particular body part, and then get that all the way to the end.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the original design called for something where you only were able to do that in one of those columns, right? And so you could pick one out of each, maybe the second one, or one out of the first one out of each, and then the second one. And we thought, well, that's just too painful. They're going to have all the stuff people are never going to use, and so we actually went so far in the opposite direction that we ended up giving everything to everybody. And so the big problem with that, though, is that then everybody, and I know there's some argument about generalists versus skills and things like that, but it's like when you have everything, when you have all the skills, you're just a generalist. When you have only some of the skills,
you're focusing on your own skill.
It's a skill set, or it's a specialization or something like that. And we don't have classes or skills per se. We built the game so that it was much more free that way, and you didn't have to look like a particular character. Because when you do skills like that, you kind of have to look like a particular type of character so people can see you coming.
Well, yeah, and by doing things like that, I mean, it's you're trying to cater to your own game, but it also makes it difficult for you to even compare your ideas and your designs based on games that came before you. I mean, you can't really base your skill tree off of an RPG skill tree where you already pick, the type of character that you are to begin with. So all of those skills are catered to that.
Well, and there's really no choice after that.
Yeah.
I mean, in RPGs like WoW, you have tons of choice, but there's not a lot of first-person shooters where you have this kind of choice. And so this is already kind of novel. And we're going to keep making changes to it. And, arguably some of these things are going to be controversial. Right?
Well,
like
yeah,
this one? Like this one?
They'll be controversial, and it's just, it's kind of like, is it controversial because it's actually something that's flawed, or is it just because we changed something that was previously there?
Well, that's the problem, is that, a lot of, some of the guys that are coming in new probably don't even notice the difference.
No.
and a lot of the people that have been here for a while are used to it that way. We hadn't really changed the skill tree system at all since we first implemented it. We really pushed everything out and just we really wanted to test it through everything. And now that we've gotten all the results of what people actually do with it, we made changes.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it goes down. The intention wasn't to make them grind more. We actually today made the change where we did reduce the amount of points that you get at each step, but you also they're also cheaper to get to those first few steps, right? And so you can get back to most of the things. I think the other change that happened, which I wasn't a part of, but was a change also, was that they moved some of the pieces around, right? So they moved some of the skills. So I think arguably some of the people were upset that skills that they really liked that were at the beginning now got moved to the end.
Exactly. But I mean, again, this is one of those things that happens when you're playing in a beta. You have to do those tests to find out how they benefit the community. Are people gaining too much skill too quickly? Is it hindering the efforts of players that are not quite at that same level from even progressing or enjoying their experience? And it's why we're in beta. Yeah. That's why we do what we do.
I think, and Ken mentions, and a couple other people have mentioned, a ton of people absolutely hate the skill changes, the flipping of the skill changes, and some people do. I mean, this is why...
Well, a lot of people hated the skill tree when it first made its appearance anyways.
We joked about that, right? Because it's like, wait, what was the last time that we had such an uproar, such an emotional reaction to change? And it was actually
adding the skill tree.
And then the one after that was the coin changes we made. But yeah, I mean, the skill tree, I'm like, damn that skill tree. And then we joked and said, well, burn the skill tree.
Burn the skill tree.
And so I'm sure you guys can joke about that. But ultimately, I mean, the decision is made for good, not evil. We want people to make more clear decisions on the types of items they pick. We don't want them to be able to max out every single thing ever, because that was not how the system was originally envisioned.
And more adjustments can come in the future.
Can we make better skills? Absolutely.
But we're not going to know unless we test this and it turns out that it's not.
That's the thing, is if people don't use them, right, then they're either useless or they don't want them anymore, or they're not usable, and so we want to improve those. Oh. And wow, there's a head there. That's our newly married Alex that's back. Whoa. And the ring. Ching! See, nice. And he actually has a ring to show his love.
Our powers combined.
There you go. Marriage power. There's really no power in that.
No, isn't that a seceding of power or consent? Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go there.
Wow.
I'm not married.
So we'll ask for people's comments and questions later on skill tree stuff, but I wanted people to know there's always a reason for these changes.
Yeah.
Not just the guys on the forum have a lot to say about this stuff. There's people in our office that are expert game makers. There's people, except for Justin, who's going to walk by. He's nodding his head no.
You guys should probably know we have arguments about this stuff.
We actually had to break up a fist fight earlier.
We do.
There's a lot of testosterone in this office, if you guys hadn't known.
Mostly mine.
Thank you guys. And actually, we did we take it down as backup? So we took the server down, we put it back up, just by the way. But what did we fix? We fixed a thing where if you were buying, if you had bought a spin slot or earned a spin slot with your weapon, it wasn't showing up, and so now it will. So there you go. You should get it back. So there you go. Thank you, Justin, for that fix.
Those are the guys that make it happen.
Yeah, we also made some other changes too, so I want to talk about those.
That was water bottle
too.
that just made a break for it
did he
too.
Did he just run by the camera?
I think he did.
That guy doesn't want to be seen. Just tucks his head. So what else do we have? We'll get to some of the other stuff, but Probetown map.
Probetown map.
I think that was really awesome.
We've got a new character that's making headlines in the gaming world.
Spencer and crew worked feverishly on putting that level out.
Oh, yes.
I know there was some upsettedness around the temple because we had been teasing the temple. I did say for the record that we would put it out. That wasn't necessarily coming out right away, but I wanted to show something. So for those guys that love that, awesome. It still exists. We didn't delete it.
No, God, no,
it's going to come back.
And we better not, because cherry trees are my favorite.
I'm hoping it comes out soon. I'm hoping it comes out soon. But this is all, it's all how the winds change, what people want. And the beauty of our game is that we do listen to the community, right? Mm-hmm. We argue with you sometimes. We do listen a lot, more so than anybody else. And we do try to make the best possible game experience, and that means sometimes doing some cool stuff like Probetown. And so they whipped that thing out quickly. There's lots of little fun little things in there for you to find. What else did we do? We added a new character, Money Sack. You decide who that looks like. I think it looks like Ernest Borgnine. But like a...
Kind of reminds me of a scary Garbage Pail Kid I saw when I was a kid.
Scary Garbage Pail Kid. Some people think it looks like the guy that was in the Moneyball movie. I don't know. And then we put the OP5 in.
Yes.
And so here's a topic of conversation. Nobody's talking about the new weapon. I think everybody really likes it.
There was some talk of the weapon. I think Probetown overshadowed it a little bit.
I think everybody likes it. That's the good news. I think everybody, of course, is calling it OP, which I think anytime we have any new weapons, whether they be gold, silver, or OP, and named OP, they immediately become OP, and we start to dissect them, over-dissect them. All the weapons are very different, and so I love that about them. So the OP5 is really fun. I had fun time making the sounds for that, and I kind of like that. It sounds kind of mechanical, and I really like that. When I did the AK, I did the same treatment to it, and it was like just kind of a little bit more gun-like. So I kind of like that. What else?
We also have Notch Carver.
Yes, that's really cool. I had that one.
I like the Notch Carver. I actually got that on one of my spins that I was trying out the other day.
I was going to say I got it in a silver mystery box. So, and I didn't get the full thing, but I got a rental. I got a rental. I think I might have gotten it for that really cool 30-day one where you can get it for a long time. I was very excited about that. It looks like some people are saying they love the OP5, and some people are saying that the G Camp is OP. Of course,
the G Camp.
We think it's funny because no matter what, when we put out a new weapon, it's automatically OP, and we don't do anything to it, and it just eventually doesn't. It's no longer OP after time. So
it could be just because it is the new gun, so everybody's using it. It seems like it's OP because you're just getting killed with it left and right, and it's just because everybody has it. Could be.
Some people are saying it's the opposite of OP. It sucks.
It sucks. No.
Well, there you go. Well. Like I said, not just the forums, but we get a lot of other feedback from other places. So some people are loving it and some people are not. So, well, there you go. If it's not OP, then it must be perfectly balanced.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's the case either, but I like how it sounds.
We also have a new pwn, which is our thumbs down pwn.
That's right.
I particularly like this one. I think it's got a lot of heart and feeling, and took some references to one of my favorite historical drama movie type things. I'll let you decide which one that is.
Oh, I know. I can just say that it has.
You can.
It has a gladiator in it.
Oh yes, this is true. It does. It has a Caesar in it.
And the thumbs down. Yeah, the thumbs down. It takes place in a large coliseum.
It does. With an amazing actor
and
playing that
what
part.
Does he say? Are you amused?
Well, he says, "Are you not entertaining?"
Am I not entertaining? Yeah, so there you go. If you don't know the movie, then we're going to just call it. Yeah. But thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
That's what that is. Oh, are you not amused? Thank you. Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Yes, thank you. What else did we do? We added blood.
We added
hydraulic
fluid as is.
Whatever you can imagine it being. I teased this last week on the show.
You did. I actually didn't know until you said something on the show, and then I was messing around in Probetown and noticed it. So.
Some people love it. Some people don't love it. We may very well put a thing on later where it does. It is a good indication of hit response, and so we don't just put things in because it's fun to put in blood, but we did put it in so that people could get a better sense for whether they were hitting enemies or not.
Doing damage. I'll admit that I'm still not used to seeing it, so when I do see it, it's like, oh my god.
It does jump out. It does jump out at you. So the hit effects. And some people are mentioning, or I guess it's Rage the Cat is mentioning about the hit effects on all the items. Yeah, we're starting to put in some cool stuff, right? Which we didn't mention in the broadcast. Destructible objects in the environment, and the materials on each of the things are actually shooting off different particle effects and things like that. Like lots of little touches in that new map that you'll start to see propagated into the other maps, which is really nice.
Please scour that map for the Easter eggs, by the way. We put a lot of effort into that, and for those of you who found them, thank you for not spoiling them on the forums and letting other people discover them for themselves. But if you haven't yet, please do, because there's a ton, and we really enjoyed putting them in there for you.
Yep, and we have lots of little, it was a whole group effort, but things like saw the lamp mentioned, and saw some other things. We have the TVs. If you check out the TVs, there's some funny stuff on that, and so we did do. Sabrina animated that for us. little scene from one of your favorite TV shows, and so. We like to do little things like that, and we put a little sort of personal touches on this map a little bit differently than usual, and so this was more of a for the fans map, and it sounds like everybody's really having a fun time with that. So
yes, thank you for the love.
Awesome, yeah. So that's good stuff, right? Coin and XP boosters we put in; those are cool.
And you did the Star Trek music.
Yep, that was me on my iPhone. Hey, that's what we do.
That's how we roll. It was actually kind of awkward to hear him doing that actually in this area.
That's how we roll at Euphoria. It's
ghetto.
It's definitely ghetto. You want sounds, you do it like what's the guy guy from Police Academy?
Michael Winslow.
You do it like Michael Winslow. You just go into a corner and go. And everybody looks at you and goes, "What the hell?"
Or they don't even look at him. They're just actually like, "Where did it come from?"
Yeah, I was doing it in the hallway, and it was echoing, and everybody was like, "What the hell? Is Archer fighting a Gorn back there?
Yeah,
what's going on?"
I don't know. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Did he have a cable guy flashback? I don't. So.
Well, for anybody that's just joining us, even though a lot of people in our forums are old favorites here, you're seeing Offensive Combat. That's our game. It's a browser-based, free-to-play shooter. It is customizable and competitive, and you can just log on to offensivecombat.com, and you can sign in either with your Twitter account, your Facebook, or make a new one under the Euphoria symbol that you see right there. And please play. Let us know what you think. Go onto our forums, go onto our Facebook or our Twitter. Let us know what you think, or send us an email.
We have a passionate community.
We do.
I can tell you that very confidently today. And they don't back down, so that's good for them.
It is,
but
and
join
it's good
that
for us
community.
Too. We're lucky to have such a passionate crew.
Absolutely, it gives us a lot of good feedback. What else did we do? So we did some stuff in the UI. We moved some stuff around in the marketplace, and we actually made a marketplace of its own, which is kind of the direction we've been heading, which hopefully helps a lot of people see all the content. And so it's less for the people that have been there for a long time. It's more about new people coming in, and it's you want to nerf the passion.
Nerf the passion.
Thanks, Jonah. I don't want to nerf the passion.
Passion makes the world go round.
Yeah, come on. End of round spinner. Nobody's commenting positively on that one, but that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
After X rounds, you get to spin a wheel and get free shit. I mean,
I don't
know of any shooters that do that, and I definitely don't. I don't know of a lot of games that do that.
I know one that does that.
I know because I stole it from that game, but don't mention that one.
I won't.
But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool end of round thing. You don't actually get 200 coins every time, but that's pretty awesome if you get 200 extra coins every time.
You do, yeah.
You sometimes get rentals. You sometimes get pretty big prizes. So it is totally random. It actually picks one out of the
It
entire
does pick
set.
some
It's
really
pretty
strange,
cool.
like.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some strange stuff like, hey, thanks for the hands. And then other times I've been like, what a permanent weapon. And I was like, this is awesome. So so that's an awesome thing. What else do we have? Oh, Pones. I don't think anybody's mentioned this either, but let the conversation begin. Pones now give individual rewards. It's kind of the first